This is Dating with Reptar, and I am Reptar. And if you don't follow me already on Instagram, I am on Reptar underscore Love Jones, R3PTAR underscore LOVEJONEZ. And my people was on time. So today's class is Gemini Rising. Yeah. Y'all look very happy. Okay. Start. Name, age, and occupation for the fans.
I'm Adriana. I'm a full-time grad student and I'm 24 years old.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Jose, 31, and I'm a program coordinator in the Office of Community Standards at Rutgers University, Newark.
You are curious and a keen observer. You like to reach out to others, comma, exchange and discover new horizons.
I feel for me, it's just someone that likes to be intellectually sound, one, and two, just someone that observes things from a distance and takes their time to learn about a person or thing in particular. So that's kind of what I take from that.
I think for me, I think it's someone that's really intuitive. So someone that's like really in touch with their emotions and can like channel that for other people. So when you're able to like channel your own emotions, it's easier for you to like branch out and like explore horizons with other people or other circumstances.
That's cool. So you sound like y'all trying to be college professors in your friend circle.
Basically,
Yeah.
Describe what it means to you to be a Gemini rising.
Gemini Rising is just like someone that, as mentioned by both Adriana and myself, just someone that's emotionally intuitive and that's always supportive of people, but emotionally in tune with their feelings and just wants more out of people. But so if that makes sense, that's kind of how I view Gemini Rising, and that's just as basic as it can be for me.
I feel like sometimes we can be perceived as really wishy-washy because we really go
Oh,
I think sometimes it can be perceived as really wishy-washy because we really do go with our feelings first and our like mental state first, and like everybody kind of falls second. So I could definitely see that in like hindsight because I think we're really funny, we're really outgoing, but when it like time to get serious, it happens super quickly and super like it doesn't matter the tone of the room.
Uh,
So I think we're really funny. I think we're party people when it needs to be, but at the same time, we can be really like serious and kind of like overkill when it's something matters to us, which can come off really wishy washy because you don't know what side you're gonna get until you get it.
which is fair
so
enough.
friendships. Three qualities they like of you and three qualities they hate of you. Meaning they came to you and said, I don't like this about you, or oh, I like this about you.
Three qualities that they like about me is that I'm loyal, trustworthy, and I'm always that lending hand or that emotional support. So like whenever someone calls me, they know that I'm always there. Reach out to them. Three qualities they would hate. I have to. Now it would. I feel like one of the qualities is that. Oh, and this one I can definitely say is from personal testimony from someone that's in this room that I do things at my own time, apparently. And that, yeah, praise the Lord, personal testimony. The second thing, I feel like passive aggressive. It's been openly admitted. I can be passive aggressive. As you mentioned, I can either be kind or I'm gonna be that person, be like, passive aggressive. And then sometimes too emotional, if that makes sense. I or too emotionally invested in someone else's issues instead of my own.
People will like about me is that I am really loyal. I'm really solution focused. Like that's my specialty. And then I'm really fun to be around. Like I'm just really fun. Three things people like tend to not like is I'm really impulsive. Like if I want to do something, I'm gonna do it. I don't need anyone to like give me permission. I can be really talkative, which is like a strong point and a weak point. And I could be really mean if need be. Like if I don't like you, I could be a little bit mean, and I don't realize I'm mean. So
And that's why y'all are made for each other. So, in love, Does any quality shine when attracting people? The influence of Gemini rising in love. Gemini rising makes people even more fun loving and in love. Rumor has it these folks actually laugh people in bed. Ooh. Your ascendant's influence makes you charismatic and reinforces your power of seduction. In relationship, you hate routine and you need an element of surprise to keep you on your toes. You place complicity before sensuality and look for someone who can match you on the intellectual front. Yet your fickle nature means that your partners have trouble knowing whether or not you are serious about them.
I think qualities that shine from that quote is like definitely amplifying a good time. I think to counteract like the not taking things serious, I think having an earth sign as my moon kind of like counteracts like the Gemini's like not being so flighty. But yeah, I think shining the most is making everything a good time.
It's definitely someone that can match me intellectually. I think that's like something within me that like attracts me when it comes to that aspect of it. I feel that, you know, if someone can match me intellectually, I feel like that's something that draws me closer to that person, which has been expressed before. So that I could definitely say that aspect of it, definitely me.
Can they do that while you're laughing them in bed though? Let's just say you and Adriana watch a movie, y'all both laugh about something hilarious, and then y'all just look at each other like for a hard ass second, and then that's it.
Oh,
Netflix is
yeah, I
watching.
could definitely see that. Yeah, yeah, sounds about right. Yeah.
So, can you see yourselves trying to do that with each other? Or you can come back to me when y'all see each other in Albany.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I
yeah.
want documentation. Did you have to diminish a trait of yourself in the rising to appeal to the crowd? If there was a trait that you diminished in the rising, what was that trait to appease to the crowd?
Me being so emotional. Yeah. So I have to like kind of like tone that down because I'm
Uh,
very emotional.
I think that's hard because I feel like most of the traits that are within this rising that is Gemini, I think it's hard because you're so innate, you're so embedded with it that it's just like it's hard to like diminish it because it's like you're losing a sense of self. And obviously within this particular notion, it's hard to be like, oh, appeasing the who? What? No, like that's stuff, not happening. Right. So I think that's hard to say. Definitely the emotional piece as well. I for lack of a better trait, I would definitely say the emotional aspect of it.
I know you guys said emotional, right? But understand emotions are different when you're a rising sign, right? So, in that aspect, it means outwardly, is there something you gave to the world that they didn't like so much that you was like, let me just tone this down and see what happens next? For example, I have a tendency to be in my own world, in my own bubble, and not be in reality, period. And I sometimes try to be of the reality, but it's so hard because people don't understand the bubble that I live in and the kind of bubble that I don't put myself there, but that's just automatically that happens. And because it's reality versus imaginary, I'd rather be in an imaginary world, but I give you reality to hide the fact that I am kooky as hell, basically. So when I say diminish it, it's really toned down a lot depending on who you are. So if I already know you, you already know I'm loony as hell. You already know. But if it's somebody I'm still learning, and they come into an imaginary part of me, then I'm like, okay, let me try and put it in. And if it don't work, I take it back.
It's very difficult to provide a legitimate answer to that because when you're asking someone to take a piece of themselves just to appease to the people, I feel like for someone like us as Gemini rising, and I don't know if Andrina would attest to this, just like trying to take a part of ourselves just to conform with the rest. I mean, that's hard to do because we are already bombed by our damn selves. We don't need any confirmation. We don't need no validation from anybody. Like for what? The fuck? So I think that's hard for me to really answer, because for me to diminish a trait of myself is to give you a false sense of who I am. And that's not what I want to do.
The biggest thing that I could say I tone down is like when I'm in a group of people. I think this is more due to like upbringing and like being in this part of New York. Is like I could really tone down my assertive nature. Like when I'm in, like I think Gemini risings where you're comfortable, it's easier to be like boom, 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 boom. But like when I'm in a room with people I really don't know, I'm not comfortable with, I always like fall back and see what they do and what they like say before I would ever like step up and take the reins. But I don't know if that's like from being one of the only few Black women in a room or just like a mix of a trait plus a circumstance.
There will be a time where you literally sit there and be like, damn, is this really too much for this person? And you may not realize it's happening, but it's because you're taking that moment to say, well, I'm not gonna stop this because this is how I'm feeling. I'm gonna just keep it moving. You don't take the time to realize that it's happening and why it's happening and what situation is popping up for it to happen.
I think now it kind of is clicking. I will admit there are moments where I will not succumb to, you know, diminishing and or conforming to a norm, because I feel like that's not part of who I am. Because I feel like, well, before I would used to be fair, I feel like to a certain extent I would conform a lot, just for the sake of reading the room. But I feel like nowadays, with for me anyway, I've started to become a little bit more like to my own nature, to my identity, to my sense of self. And because I feel like previously I would conform and just be about others. Nowadays, I'm just about my damn self. Why? Because my piece is important. So, so I think for your question, now that I think about it, it's actually in reverse, because it was that I diminished it previously, but now I choose to be more about myself to some extent. Now, of course, obviously, I balance it out accordingly. But if someone tells me something is wrong or if something is off, you have to be able to communicate that with me. That's really important. I feel like it's very important to just communicate how you're feeling or how it is. We can find solution. One of the things is just definitely being more solution based than you trying to add more fuel to the fire. So essentially, you want to be able to be the best version of yourself around whoever it is that you're trying to build a future with. So I'm not going to compromise to be lesser than who I really am. At the same time, I also understand there's people around me, as you just both alluded to, that there's going to be times where people may not understand that journey because there's a lot that's going on. But I think communicating that is going to be most important. So to answer your question, now that I have a better understanding, for me it was like that before, but now I'm choosing myself over others. But obviously that's not like for most things. I think just in terms of, where my piece is. Obviously, if someone out there is, you know, matching my energy, obviously I'm gonna give them the world because that's just part of who I am. So essentially, when someone is giving me the world and matching my energy, matching my efforts and everything like that, it just feels good where it just feels natural not to be afraid to be yourself. When you're afraid to be yourself, that takes away from who you really are because people may perceive you differently. And I think that's part of that process that I know for myself I had to undergo because it was necessary for me to understand like, you're going to accept me for who I am. I'm not trying to be ignorant or anything like that. I just know that for myself, I need to understand I need to understand who I am. Who is truly Jose? Who am I? I can be a very, very serious person, but I can also bring joy into your life. And that's not just trying to be cocky, that's just being me, and I'm open to a lot of things. And I've been through a lot. But I feel like for the right person, I won't have to be afraid. And I'm not afraid anymore to be who I really am. But before, it was the complete opposite. So that
So can y'all tell the fans what y'all doing?
we're talking. Me and Adriana are talking,
Your
and
face.
we're getting very close by the day.
Ooh, you said close by the day.
the day. By
Well-
the day.
By the minute,
I co-sign that. I co-sign that.
Oh, I should.
day, by the hour, by the minute, by the second.
All I'm gonna say is this is the happiest that I've seen Jose.
Yay!
This is the happiest I've seen him. So it's cute to see him all giddy and stuff. So I'm kind of glad you're being a little light in his world. And I'm glad that you're being a little light to hers, even though you're older than her, but y'all figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. Just when I first, we first started talking, I didn't know what to expect. I did not know what to expect and everything. We just started talking, FaceTiming every day, and
Literally every day.
literally every day, morning, afternoon, and night. We've even slept on the phone with each other.
Right. My phone always dies. So like by 2 a.m, he's dead. And I'd be like, oh dang.
Yeah. And there's times where I just wake up in the morning and she's the first person I think about. And when I go to sleep, she's the last person I think about.
Beautiful.
Yeah, like it just feels good. It feels very genuine, very different.
Mm-hmm.
And people will say, "Oh, but yeah, I'm moving too fast." I'm like, well, I mean, we're moving at our own pace, respectfully. But I just feel that this is a beautiful place where I'm at, especially with her. I'm in a very happy place because Adriana adds to my happiness. She's not the source of it, obviously, because I feel like when I say that, I think we have to be intentional, and she knows this.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be an addition to someone's happiness. If they're not happy by themselves without you, then that means there's more soul searching that you need to do. She knows about what's happening. So tomorrow is a day that I tend to dread every single year. You probably know what it is. So I kind of had a moment earlier today, and I conveyed with Adriana, and she comforted me. And when someone is able to have the strength to comfort you, even when they're going through their own stuff, because there are moments where she has either called me or texted me to comfort her during her finals, because anxiety can be a bitch,
So hard.
a major one. And if I can't be there for her, then what the fuck am I doing? That's why it's really important that I make it intentional to be there for Adriana when I can, which is like 95% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just in a very good place with Adriana. She adds a smile to my day. And
Thanks. I should give you like a high five. Like, that was like a perfect answer. Like, good job. High five. You did great. 10 out of 10.
What about you, Missy?
You know,
I've done
my
my
words are
job.
never gonna be as eloquent. That's why whatever you said,
Eh.
it's great. I feel like my answer would have sounded like so. Like, I'm good. This is really great, and I'd have been nodding a lot. I'm like, yeah, I'm happy here.
I'm already meeting family.
Yeah, we're having dinner at my aunt's house like the week he gets up here.
I'm so glad it worked out. I'm so glad I did my job.
It did.
Yeah.
To know that we are still out here heavily looking for something, and outside of not wanting to be lonely, but finding something that genuinely makes me happy and is added on, like you said, and not a part of it, a part of what your self happiness is already supposed to be. So, like I said, I'm very happy for you guys. And
Wait, no.
thank you guys so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. So if you don't follow me on Instagram already, I am on Reptar_Love Jones, R3PTAR_LOVEJONZ. But deuces, man.